This video is brought to you by GoDaddy. Enter code HUB749 for domain name discount, HUB20 for 20% off hosting plans, and code HUBFILE for discount off of online file folder plans.
Dustin Delatorre with FightHubTV.com here with Ben Henderson, UFC lightweight. Ben, thanks for taking the time and doing this interview with us.
Of course, no problem.
You take on Clay Guida this weekend on UFC on Fox. Talk about the fight. Talk about Clay and what he brings to the table, what you're going to bring to the table on come Saturday night.
Clay brings a pretty good intensity, pretty good pace to all his fights. I expect him to do the same thing on Saturday night. He's going to bring his cardio and his wrestling. That's kind of what he's known for. So that's what I'm looking at for Clay to bring on Saturday night. Looking to have a good time for me to go out there and have a good showing.
You mentioned Clay's wrestling. People seem, or they're maybe sleeping on your wrestling in this fight. You're a Division II All-American.
Yeah.
Division II All-American, but in wrestling, Division II, Division I, it's almost about the same thing. It's not like, say, football, for example, where there's a big difference. Do you think people are sleeping on your wrestling and your ability maybe to stop his takedown?
I don't know so much as I wouldn't say sleeping on my wrestling. I would maybe say because that is such a strong asset of Clay Guida's, they're focusing more on that, on Clay, his positives being wrestling, one of them, so they focus a lot on that.
Great. With the win over Clay, I mean, right now this is essentially a #1 contender fight. With the win over Clay, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself getting that title shot, or?
I have no idea, to be honest, man. I'm not sure. I know the popular rumor going around is this fight's for the #1 contendership and all that sort of stuff. But unless I personally hear Dana White say, or read an interview, or hear or see myself, Dana White say, this is for the #1 contendership, or this is for the title, or it's going for the title, or if I don't hear him say it, then I don't necessarily believe it. I don't like to listen to too many rumors and all that stuff. So as far as where it puts me, who knows? Not really up to me to say. It's up to my job to go out there and fight and to win. The guy's job, whose it is to say where it puts me, is Dana White, Joe Silva, and Lorenzo Fertitta brothers.
Great. A year ago today, you were fighting the WEC. Talk about what this whole year has been. You're fighting the WEC. You were the WEC lightweight champ. Now that you're in the UFC, you're in the middle of the title picture here. Talk about how your life's changed and how everything's been since the merger with the WEC and the UFC.
Been pretty much the same. I do the same thing now in the UFC that I did in the WC. It's the exact same organization. The same people who run the UFC ran the WC, so everything's pretty much the same. Maybe a little more notoriety for having those 3 different letters, UFC instead of WC. 2 different letters, because the C is the same. So anyways, no, pretty much the same as far as like my life hasn't really changed. Still live in a modest place. I don't have no 10 cars or 10 houses. I'm not a millionaire, so same for me.
Can I get your take on the main event, the UFC on Fox of Dos Santos and Velasquez?
I think that's gonna be a fun fight. It's gonna be both guys have so much power in their hands. Man, I think that fight is gonna end for sure early, and it's gonna end spectacular. I think someone's gonna get knocked out, and it's gonna be a wow. That guy got, it's gonna be one of those moments, I think.
Great, Ben. I want to thank you for taking the time with FightHubTV.com, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.